Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Two Opinionated, where today I'm speaking with singer, musician, music producer CONNR Weinstein, going by the artist name CONNR, which is awesome. Welcome, CONNR.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, that's already like my favorite musician name. That's solid. That's good stuff.
Right on, right on.
What made you choose CONNR without the second O?
Well, I was trying to come up with kind of something really simple, something that represented just the fact that I was kind of going out with some solo material.
Yeah,
I didn't really want to have like a band name at this point, especially just for this material that I was putting out. I
right.
wanted it to be my own name, but I wanted to stylize it in kind of a cool way. And so I was just kind of like experimenting around, and I was like, what if I just like drop the second O and then it could just be my name, because there's like a million Connors out there, like CONNOR.
Right.
So I would be competing with like basically like a lot of people. It would be really hard to kind of like show up
You know,
on the
when
front.
you Google search CONNR without the O, it's you that pops up.
Yeah.
You know,
So
if
that was
you just
definitely part
Google
of
CONNR, millions.
yeah.
Yeah.
So there's that was definitely part of the thinking behind that. So that way I could kind of be me. It's obviously a derivative of my name, but
Yeah. Well,
stylized in a
it
way
makes
where
a good
I can.
logo too.
Oh yeah, totally. I'm pretty stoked on just what I've been doing. I just took like the double slashes and then just all caps
Yeah.
CONNR. And all my
Yeah.
friends make fun of me. They all say like, "Oh yeah, Con," but it's all good.
Well, that's what friends are for.
Totally, totally.
I've been listening to some of the music. It's really really good. I mean, you're
Oh,
crazy
thank you,
talented. Yeah, I
thank you.
really enjoyed it. So I wanted to start here. Just what made you want to get into music and specifically singing and writing your own stuff. How did you get into that?
Well, let's see. I mean, if we start at the very beginning, I mean, when I was 11 years old, I learned how to play the guitar.
That's
Um,
pretty early.
yeah, yeah, and I was really into the band Green Day at the time. They had just put out their
Yeah,
American Idiot album,
yeah,
and that was kind of like the thing that all my friends were listening to. And I'd always kind of I was drawn to music as a kid and
yeah.
stuff. But when that album came out, and I actually like really started like listening to it, like
Right.
really sitting down with something and being like, okay, I'm trying to get into a band. Like it just hooked me. And I started to play guitar a little bit, and then I went to see Green Day in concert, and I was like, you can do that? Like you can run around on stage and like pull people up onto the stage and
Why not?
have pyrotechnics and stuff. I was just like, yeah, this is what I want to do with my life, music. Um, and so
Yeah,
that was like the turning point. And so from that point on, I, you know, started off mostly just a guitar player, but then would start writing songs. And my first few songs were probably really bad, but I think like every songwriter kind of has to go through that initial phase of like trying to figure out how to write songs, and
right.
then just kind of like evolve over time and get better and uh, draw different influences and stuff over the course of however long. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, do you write the music as well, or are you just doing
Oh
the
yeah.
lyrics? Yeah,
No,
yeah, that's
everything.
that's
Yeah,
awesome.
everything.
Yeah, my wife's a big Green Day fan, and she works for Live Nation, and we had tickets to go see them last year, and then everything got canceled.
Oh
So
yeah.
yeah, so we were way disappointed for that. We've been looking forward to that one. That's been on our bucket list for a while to go get to see them. So I'm
Yeah.
jealous that you got to catch them in concert. That's
Yeah, I
awesome.
would definitely recommend going to see Green Day. So I think that they're going to be, so long as everything is cool for the rest of the year. I think that they had
Yeah.
rescheduled their dates for
Yeah, that's what
this.
we're hoping.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
that's what we're
fingers,
hoping.
fingers crossed that it's
Yeah,
all
we'll still get to. It's nobody's traveling quite yet, but we're getting closer.
getting close.
So,
Yeah, light at the end of the tunnel. I
that's
just
right.
got I just got my vaccine yesterday, my first dose. So
Oh yeah, congrats. Yeah, I had
Thanks.
my second one 2 weeks ago.
Oh,
I
nice.
got yeah, I got a little sick for a day. I felt kind of rough, but after that it was fine.
Yeah. Did you get a Moderna or Pfizer?
Pfizer.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got Moderna.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I assume they're fairly similar.
Oh yeah, I mean they're both the mRNA thing, and you know I'm very like fascinated by science and just like kind of like
Yeah,
how everything works, and so like I did a lot of research on it, and I know that there's like kind of a lot of skepticism about the time frame and like the
right.
timeline on it, but really like when I did the research and it was the process seems so simple, just like the mRNA, like how it operates in your body,
Yeah,
and so I was like, this is like pretty. I mean, it happened all in a short amount of time, but it sounds so safe, you know, like so.
yeah,
Yeah, no side effects except just like my arm hurts a little bit. That's it.
yeah. You did good. Yeah, I did pretty good well the first time, but the second one I had the sore arm, but I kind of felt like I had the flu, but just for that day. Like I went to bed, I woke up the next day, and I was fine. So
Yeah,
not too bad. Worth it. I mean, just
easier to deal with one day of that, you
oh
know.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. Just to take a little bit of the worry away.
yeah, totally,
Yeah,
definitely
worth that.
peace of mind for sure.
So I was reading, doing my research to talk with you. I read where you got to play with 30 Seconds to Mars.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
Oh, it was totally awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, how'd that come about?
Well, a couple years ago, I had a couple friends that worked for the K Rock radio station in Los Angeles,
Yeah.
and kind of like the Los Angeles alternative rock radio station.
Oh yeah. I've listened to some K Rock.
Yeah, yeah. And well, one of my friends texted me and said, "Hey, 30 Seconds to Mars is looking for a guitar player for their gig at the Forum. And are you interested?" And I thought that she was joking with me because I was like, "What? Like, you know, am I being punked right now?"
That's right.
But, yeah, and so basically, it was okay. I'm gonna have my manager email you, and he'll give you the details. And sure enough, he emailed me, and it was like a situation where you had to do like some audition videos. They sent me like four
Oh
songs to
yeah.
learn, and so I was like, okay, what's the deadline on learning these and turning the videos in? They said, oh, day after tomorrow, and I was like, wow, that's like a really short amount of time
Yeah,
because
that's short.
like meanwhile, like I'm a music producer and an engineer, and that's like essentially my main day job, like,
Right.
and so like I can't just like cancel sessions, so I had to basically in between sessions, and I'm booked like all the time, so like I
Oh, wow.
like in between sessions I had to like squeeze in listening to these songs as much as I possibly could, and thankfully like I'm pretty good at just like hearing something, kind of being like, okay, that's that note, like I can
Right.
pretty much hear something and play it. And so uh, I managed to learn those songs, and I had a buddy come over to video everything, and then he turned it around for me by like midnight, and I actually got it in with several hours to spare. But it was like kind of a nerve wracking process because I
Oh
was like
yeah.
doing these sessions, and I was just like the whole time I was preoccupied in my own brain, thinking like, oh my god, like am I gonna have time to do this? Because it was like it was an opportunity that I felt like, okay, I actually have a shot at doing this, like, I
That's
mean,
right.
obviously like someone from the station emailed me, and like that's kind of legit in and of itself.
Yeah.
And I heard back about maybe a week later saying like, okay, congratulations, you have the gig. And I still had no idea like what it was going to be. Like, was I going to be playing the whole set with them? Was it just going to be
Right.
a song? And it wound up just being the one song, "This Is War." Um, but I mean, I'll
Yeah,
take
what
it.
an amazing experience.
Yeah, it was awesome. I mean, honestly, I would have gone to the forum if they would have said, "Okay, congratulations, you get to clean the bathrooms." Like it was, yeah. So I mean, I was stoked, and yeah, just what a great experience. And you know, I've seen so many awesome bands at the forum and stuff.
Yeah.
So to be there, like on the stage, it just kind of felt like, okay, this is like kind of affirmation that music is my life, and I get to
Yeah,
do
that's
this.
amazing.
What a great experience.
Yeah, that's awesome. I did get to see them in concert. They were opening for Incubus, which
Oh,
was yeah, the two of them together was pretty great. That was pretty
yeah,
great.
yeah. Incubus is a great band. I've seen them a couple times as well.
Yeah. They're really they're actually I think better in concert than they are just listening on the
Yeah,
radio.
yeah,
Yeah, it's
definitely.
really solid. So when you were growing up in school, were you did you play in a band or were you in a show choir or anything like that?
I played in bands starting when I was about 11. I mean, pretty much when I picked up a guitar. Um, part of the fun was just like, you know, not just being a guitar player, but like, okay, I play guitar. I'm not good yet. I've only been playing for like, a few weeks, but
Right.
I'm doing this because I want to take over the world and be in a band. Uh, so me and my buddies got together, and my friend was like, "Oh yeah, I can kind of like strum a guitar a little bit," and I was like, "Rad, let's do this." And I remember we put together this song that it was like, I remember it was four of us. It was me, my buddy Liam, our buddy Patrick, who kind of played bass, but I don't like. And then we had another friend who played drums, and we were like putting this song together. And I just remember the drum part being like only snare because like I couldn't really play drums, and we were just like, yeah, this is like punk rock and awesome. And we were like 11, and like none of us had gone through puberty, so our voices were just like
Oh
super high.
yeah.
But we were
Did you
like,
record it? Do you have a
you
recording
know,
of that?
um, there might be some video footage somewhere. Like, I mean, at that time, I'm sure our parents probably videotaped one of our
Yeah.
jam sessions. But I don't know where it would be. I know that me and Liam, the guitar player who I just had mentioned, still one of my great friends till this day. But I think we actually did like a demo tape, just the two of us. That that I know exists, but no one will ever hear that. I can guarantee you that. That is like that stays between me and him, and that's it.
So what was your first professional gig? Was it your own band or did you join another band? What was your first professional gig?
Um, I kind of don't remember. I mean, professional like paid gig. I mean, I guess it might have been my own band. Because it would have been like by the time I was about 14. Because when I
Yeah.
was 14, I also there was this pool hall in the city that I grew up in, which is Carpinteria. There's this pool hall, and I used to go there, and there were some older cats playing music, and it was like classic rock stuff. And they would let me
Right.
sit in on guitar when I was like 14. And
Nice.
um, and at the time, I mean, Rush is like one of my favorite bands ever, and so I knew
Yeah.
like all the Rush songs. That was like my life was Rush pretty much at that point, and tons of other classic rock songs. And I just like, um, I basically knew their whole set, and we had never rehearsed, and we just would play. And so they were like, okay, we actually kind of want to give you a shot as like a guitar player. And so
Yeah.
they booked gigs all over town, and I was like playing bars when I was like 14, playing like classic rock songs, and sometimes we'd get paid, sometimes we wouldn't, and it would just be for fun. But like it was a really good experience to kind
At
of.
that age, it doesn't really matter.
Oh yeah, but I mean, so as far as first professional gig, I mean, I can't off the top of my head pinpoint like the gig that was like the first one, but it was like around that time frame. I can tell you,
Yeah.
and it might have been with those older cats, So
That's
uh,
pretty awesome.
yeah, it was so
Did you
somewhat,
get to
somewhat.
sing too, or was it just guitar?
At that time, I was really nervous to sing.
Yeah.
When I was 11, doing like the punk thing, it was kind of okay because I was like singing alongside with my friends.
Yeah.
But when I started playing the bars and stuff, I already felt a little out of place because I was like,
You're younger.
14 in a
Yeah.
bar. So I kind of felt like, yeah, this is kind of it would be a little bit embarrassing for me to be like singing like AC/DC songs, or
Yeah.
something like that. Just I felt a little weird about it. But
Yeah, well, yeah, I could totally get that. We got a chance to talk with an actor from the Goldbergs, and his main role in the Goldbergs is just to be the guy that's crazy about Rush. So he's just always wearing the Rush T-shirt, and headbanging, and kind of, that's his whole thing on the show.
yeah, yeah, I feel like Rush really makes appearances in like they were in that movie I Love You Man, and I think
Yeah,
that Trailer Park Boys, aren't they somehow affiliated with
yeah, yeah, I
Rush?
believe
Yeah,
so.
yeah. So
Yeah,
it's like
well,
that band that like some nerd in some show is like obsessed with,
oh yeah, that's it. That's it. Well, my stepson, he plays guitar, and he's crazy about Rush. I mean, he's
Yeah.
constantly, he's got like all the albums, and I'm like, half of them are just repeating the same songs. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, well, there's this one song on
Mhm.
this album that wasn't on this one.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
you can download those. You don't have to buy the albums, but he likes he's old
yeah,
school. He likes the LPs.
yeah. Oh, I love Rush. Yeah. So when I
Yeah.
first got into Rush, um, me and my buddy Joey, who is a bass player, really, really good bass player, we used to ride our bikes home from school, and I mean, it would be that every day in high
Yeah.
school. Just like that was like the mission. It was like go to school, and we talked about Rush all day, and then we rode our bikes back to his place and just played Rush like
Those were the
until
best days.
oh yeah, it was awesome.
I mean, because you didn't have any worry
Yeah,
other than getting back to listen to music.
yeah,
I mean,
totally.
that's pretty great. We just didn't know it at the time.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely,
that we didn't appreciate it as much as we should have back then.
totally, totally agree.
So your band Next Door to the Moon.
Yeah.
So I was listening to some of their songs. I want to make sure I get the song. Medication was the one I listened to. It had a little video. The video was awesome. I really enjoyed that. But tell me a little bit
Yeah, that was a
about that
fun one to
band.
make.
Yeah, yeah, it was. That's a great song too.
Sure. Yeah, thank you.
How did you get
Yeah.
hooked up with that guy or that group?
Well, it started off as like a solo project because when
Yeah,
I was about uh, 18 or 19, I had just kind of come out of my main high school band, which was
yeah,
Jaded Cloud, which had that same bass player in it, Joey. And then I was in another band after that briefly. That was kind of like a bit of like a pop punk thing. And then
yeah,
that kind of fizzled out. And then I was like, okay, I want to do kind of like my own project and do kind of like almost like a Dave Grohl, like do all the parts, make an album, and
yeah.
call it a band name. And so the origin of Next Door to the Moon was kind of like a solo project. Um, and so that first album, the Invincible album, is sort of like a collection of songs that I had written in high school,
Yeah.
and some of them were more pop than others. Some of them were like more rock. Um, but I called it a band name because I didn't want people to think it was like a solo project.
Right.
Then
Were you gonna
people,
surprise you gonna come back later and be like, surprise, it was all me.
well, I guess it's kind of what I'm doing right now, but uh, yeah, so I wanted to build a band around that album though, because I was like,
Yeah.
okay, I have some songs, and so theoretically, it should be pretty easy to build a band now because it's not like we have to spend time writing a bunch of songs. It's like
Yeah.
people can join the band, learn these, and then we can expand from there. You know,
Right.
and so that's kind of what happened. I think the first year it took a little bit to find like the right combination of people, but I met Jacob, the drummer, and we just hit it off so good, and we
Yeah.
played together in that band for years, and we're still really good friends, and we talk all the
Yeah,
time.
that's awesome. Did you get to do any touring with that band?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, we did
Yeah.
kind of like regional touring. We
Yeah.
did Vegas a couple times.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, up and down the coast, San Diego, obviously LA, Santa Barbara, San
Yeah.
Francisco. San Francisco. Yeah, we did way up in Northern California in Fort Bragg. that was a really fun time. Yeah.
Well, yeah, you moved around a little bit then.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So how did all of that lead to the producing of records, the 137 Productions?
Yeah. Well, actually, so kind of in the latter part of kind of like right before Next Door to the Moon did a hiatus,
Yeah.
um, Jacob, the drummer, he was playing in another band as well called Alone Together, and his sister was in that band. And so there was like this kind of, we had this circle of musicians, that we were
Yeah.
all kind of like in the same circle, I guess,
Right.
and they needed someone to help them write and produce some material. And they kind of hit me up and they were like, would you be down to like produce this one song? And I'd never done that before.
Yeah.
But I was like, yeah, why not? Like, I'll go in there and, I'll go into the studio with them and make sure that everyone's playing the parts correctly, and making sure that the song is like to the highest potential that it could possibly
Right.
be, at least to like the best of my ability and like what I'm able to, determine objectively just by
Yeah.
listening to it. And so I got in the studio with them, and we worked. I remember we spent like an entire day, like maybe even 10 to 12 hours in the studio
Oh
working on
wow.
the song. And it was awesome. Like, it felt like I was working on my own stuff to a
Right.
degree, but it was like helping someone else, be stoked about their song. And I was like,
Yeah.
this is kind of cool because they have this idea of what it is right now. And I hear it objectively and I think, but like it's right here. And now I can make it appear,
Yeah. That's right.
and,
That's right.
and then it's fulfilling when you come up with an idea for someone else's song and they hear it and they're just like, they start to grin and they like, yeah, this is awesome. And then that's fulfilling, that really,
Yeah.
it means a lot.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So I produced, it was like the start of it. I produced a few more tracks by them. And then I was like, yeah, I think I'm going to do this, pursue this like on a more regular basis. And like I started out just doing it every now and again whenever I would get the gig.
Right.
And then suddenly it just, my calendar started filling up. And so it was great. Yeah.
I mean, that's terrific. I love the fact that um, throughout your kind of musical history, you've just kind of it's just kind of happened because you've made it happen. You just kind of went from thing to thing, and band to producing, and you've made this kind of connections
Mhm.
that have kind of led to this career, which is pretty great. I mean, you've been out there making it happen. That's pretty exciting.
Totally. Yeah. I'm stoked about all of it for sure.
Yeah. So you've been doing some solo stuff,
Mhm.
and you just had what was the newest one that you just released?
Yeah. So Feels So Good dropped about a week ago.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I just listened to that one before it came on. That one's awesome. If you had to describe the kind of the genre of your new sound, what would you say it was?
for the solo stuff that I've put out, I mean, there's two singles out right now just from like the solo catalog.
Yeah.
You know, they're both a little different from each other. I mean, I think that this newest one has like a pretty intense 80s vibe to it, kind of like an
Yeah.
80s pop thing. Whereas the one that came out before, Cynical Love, was more of like, I want to say, has more of like a 90s feel
That's
to
what
it.
I thought it felt like was kind of like a
Yeah.
90s feel.
Yeah. But then it's all kind of grounded in this modern production, sonic landscape, because the drums are like very kind of like EDM and punchy, and the
Yeah.
bass is, are like bass synths, and there's guitars all over both, so they're kind of glued together in that way, but they kind of span different decades of
Yeah.
music as far as where the main inspiration was
It was
drawn.
kind of. I thought it was kind of unique. The sound because it kind of makes you think of a few different types of music,
Yeah.
and definitely had the EDM type of vibe at times
Totally.
within. So
Yeah.
I thought that was great. Did you try anything different with these two songs that you hadn't tried before?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, with Next Door to the Moon, which was obviously the project I was in before attempted any solo stuff. I mean, that was
Yeah,
really all those songs were built on like more of the traditional rock style
yeah,
elements, like guitars, bass, drums. And with these, I was like, let's see like how far I can get with just my computer. Like let's
yeah,
start there. Like I'll build out the drums myself, do the synths and stuff, and then layer stuff on top of that. So the whole process was very different. As far as the EDM drums, the songs themselves aren't really EDM at all,
right,
really. But the elements, like sonically, the drums are like from like an EDM sample pack, for
yeah,
example. So bringing in those like modern elements and then combining it with sort of like my favorite melodic uh, structures and
right.
elements, kind of made a sound that I felt was kind of unique to me and something that
Yeah, it was
would,
really creative.
you know, I tend to write like the way I write songs is like as if I would want to hear it on the radio, if that kind of makes sense. Like
It does. Yeah,
I write what I would want to hear, you know.
yeah.
Uh, and so that's kind of what happened, and it's a lot of experimentation, but it's all fun, and I think it turned out pretty well. I'm pretty happy with it.
Yeah, you should be. They're really both those songs are really good. When you wrote those two, I mean, did you already know in your head kind of the music that you wanted to put to them, or did you kind of have to find that sound?
Well, I almost always come up with the music first, and I write lyrics
Oh,
to the
okay,
music.
okay,
Um, so yeah, I mean, with Cynical Love, I think I was just messing around with the chord progression, and it's only three chords really,
yeah,
three or four chords throughout the whole song, and uh, I just started humming a melody, and I was like, all right, have the main chord progression and melody down. I just the way I work, and maybe it's partly just having that producer mindset.
right,
I kind of have an idea of what I want the drums to sound like. It's always been like that when I write songs, even in Next Door to the Moon. Like I'll usually when I write a song, it's like yeah, I kind of know what the drums should do. Um, you know, a lot of times I'll kind of have a rough idea of what a bass line should be or what kind of alternate guitar melody should
right.
go on, things like that. Um, but but yeah, I mean, uh, I guess once I have those foundational musical elements, the lyrics I just kind of have to be inspired by like a moment or something, and then I'm able to
Yeah,
put lyrics to the melodies that I've come up with.
yeah. That's pretty awesome. Do you have like do you write music and then maybe struggle coming up with the lyrics? Do you push it to the side but keep it, and then if you get inspired later, go back and kind of play with it again?
Yeah, sometimes I mean it totally depends on the situation. I mean, Cynical Love I wrote in like 20 minutes, like no joke. Um,
Nice.
because it just like came out. It's like, okay, I have the music and like I was inspired all in that moment to
Yeah.
complete to like start and finish the song. That doesn't always happen. I mean, sometimes it's like maybe I'll come up with the music and then like by the time I'm done with the music, I might be really happy with it and I might be like, this is like exactly where the music needs to go. But by the time I hit that point, like my creative juice has like run out. So I have to
Yeah.
like wait for like another moment
Right.
where I can like revisit the song, or like maybe I'm thinking about the song and like a lyric pops into my head and I'm just like, okay, that's like a good theme to build off of, and
Right.
then once I
Right.
have a theme and once I kind of decide, okay, this is what I want the song to be about, and maybe I already have a melody written, then I can just fit lyrics into a melody. And I've really started to care more about the lyrical content of the music. I used to be kind of like, you know, Kurt Cobain, wrote this and that and it doesn't really make sense as long as it sounds cool. But now I'm more like, people really listen to the lyrics. A lot
Right.
of people do
Right.
anyway. Um, and so the lyrics that I try to put into the music I want it to be meaningful, you know, and
Sure.
so yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's really good. So you've released two solo songs. I mean, do you have plans to release enough to make a whole album?
Well, you know, it's kind of like an interesting scenario here because Next Door to the Moon went on hiatus.
Yep.
Like, I mean, we never like officially broke up. We just things kind of like fizzled out. All good.
As they do. Yep.
All great friends. All of us are great friends.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
awesome.
and then the solo stuff started happening kind of like in the midst of my production stuff. Um, but you know, I plan to kind of release singles as a solo artist kind of intermittently over the course of like, you know, the coming years or whatever. But
Right.
I don't, at this time, I don't really anticipate like really writing for like a full length album. I just anticipate dropping singles. And part of the reason why that is because I actually have this new band
Right.
that is like kind of becoming my main focus, you know, like it's been really like my main passion and focus right now.
Yeah.
Um, and so we haven't officially launched yet, but we've finished self-producing and mixing our first batch of songs.
Oh,
It,
congrats.
and it's awesome. I mean, I'm stoked with it. Um, and it's more of like the alternative rock thing, a lot
Yeah.
of like traditional rock style instruments. Um, but it's very modern sounding and really cool. I'm like really excited about that. So I would
Yeah.
say, you know, the solo stuff is like um you can expect singles to maybe drop intermittently throughout, you know, the course of maybe this year and next and stuff. But there's going to be more music and more content coming from this new band of mine, you know.
Yeah. What's the name of this band?
So the band, I'm going to announce it here for the first time.
Oh.
So, so the band is called Social Ghosts.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
Social Ghosts, and
Yeah, nobody steal that. That's his band.
first single dropping April.
Yeah.
So very
That's
excited.
oh my gosh, you should be. That's really exciting. So do you have, is it a completely new band, or do you have people that you have worked with in the past?
Completely new. We've never put out anything before as like a group. It's a trio.
Yeah.
Myself, keyboard player Sean, who also sings, and drummer Druva, who also shreds at guitar, and he played a
Yeah.
lot of guitar on these recordings that we did. So we got some multi-instrumentalist stuff going on here.
Oh, it's cool.
We have like the dual lead vocal thing happening, and yeah, we started playing together. Like, really, the project started about a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
Um, and then COVID happened, obviously, and just kind of pushed things back.
Right.
But we started working via Zoom, and then once things um, felt a little safer, we got together, you know, and we would socially distance as much as possible and wear masks and stuff. But we got a lot of work done, and
That's awesome.
um, we went back and forth on a lot of material, and we reworked stuff, and then we finally landed on like our first 3 songs that are like, okay, these are done. Like, these are like basically as produced as, you know, they can possibly, you know,
Yeah, they're ready.
as like being self-produced, you know, like
Yeah.
these sound good. These are done. So that's where we're at right now. That's kind of like my main project. I would say if we're looking out, like, you know, at making a full-length album, that's going to be the group where that happens.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. So you're going to release the first single in April?
April 2nd is
April 2nd.
target.
Yeah, you don't want to do it on April 1st. You got to move it back.
Yeah, yeah. You have to wait the day after, just so people don't think it's some kind of joke. Yeah.
So what's next for 137 Productions?
Next for 137 is, we launched an online store for
Oh,
mixing,
nice.
and mastering, and session guitar and bass.
Yeah.
And so if there's any artists out there watching this and they want any production work done, hit us up on the website,
Nice.
137productions.com. But yeah, pretty much just producing artists, like if an artist has some songs on the table that they want to take to the next level and record and have them mixed and mastered, that's what I do. I'm a
Yeah,
producer.
it's really, and you're self-taught basically, right?
Largely self-taught. With production and
Yeah.
stuff, pretty largely self-taught. I've never like taken a class or anything, but I've watched like a ton of YouTube videos. That's pretty
I
much all.
know, isn't it crazy that now, like when I was growing up, you couldn't do any of that. You
Mhm.
had to find somebody to teach you because there was no internet. But
That's right.
now there's master classes just available on YouTube. You can
Yeah,
learn all that stuff. You
totally.
have to kind of have the talent, but you can learn it.
Yeah, definitely. And it's the YouTube videos. It's also that, I've recorded it in a number of situations where
Yeah,
I've gotten to like watch the engineer and I've picked up on a lot of what they've done, so, and I just kind of bring that back to my workflow.
yeah,
So it's kind of combining what I've observed, in my recording situations, like where I've gone to Nashville to record, or I was actually working with an engineer for a really long time in Santa Barbara, um, and wherever I can learn, I take whatever I can and I apply it to my own
yeah.
work.
Smart. Yeah, that's really smart. So when you got to play with 30 Seconds to Mars, did you get to interact any with Jared, or were you just showing up, play, and you're out?
Well, to be honest, I didn't really interact with them much off the stage.
Yeah,
I got on stage, and that's when I met Jared. Was
on
basically like
stage.
the how do you do like on stage, you know? He like fist bumped me, and he tried to like fist bump me while I was trying to play the riff. And I was like, dude, are you kidding? Like, I'm like playing the riff
Come
right
on,
now.
Jared.
um, but no, it was awesome. And then after the performance was done, I was like exiting the stage, and I'm just like, I ain't walking off the stage until I get a hug from this guy. And I like
That's
walked up
right.
to him. I was just like, I love you, man. And I gave him a hug, and he was super cool. He's like, good job,
That's awesome.
man. That was my interaction with Jared Leto.
That's
And
pretty
then
good though if you're
Shannon
gonna
Leto,
have
the
one.
drummer, actually. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And so I got up stage, and that was basically the end of the interaction with the band. But prior to hitting the stage, earlier, Shannon Leto did come up to me, and we talked for a little bit. And yeah,
Ah,
super cool, super cool. I think
yeah,
it's
that's
just,
nice.
in shows like that, they run like a tight ship, and I was just being brought on for that one song.
Yeah.
So I also didn't want to like overstep any boundaries or anything. I was just trying to be like very go with the flow.
Well, you
And
want to be professional.
yeah, of
Like
course, of
you
course.
want to pretend like you've been there before. So
Yeah, yeah,
that's a great resume builder though. That's awesome.
yeah, totally. And yeah, that actually did lead to some other cool opportunities, and
Yeah.
people kind of see that, and they, there's definitely like a, um, I don't know what you would say. Like it feels like legit, when people see that. And so,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, it was a killer experience. Such a fun time, and definitely something that, I felt like, okay, I can really put this on my resume.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, that's awesome. So outside of music, what do you like to do?
Oh man. My life is pretty much music, but uh, no, but for real, like my main job in life is I have a daughter. I'm a full
Oh,
time dad.
yeah. How
And
old?
she's 6.5.
Oh, yeah. That's a pretty awesome age. That's a
Yeah.
busy age, though.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, she's really, I love that transition of like being a little kid, and now she's like 6.5, and she has her own personality and
Oh,
everything.
yeah.
And it's just like, oh my God, like it's just really cool. It's
Yeah.
really cool.
Is she musical at all, or is
Oh
it too
yeah,
soon to tell? Yeah. Okay.
yeah. She's not quite at the level where I think that she has the attention span to like sit down and like learn an
Right.
instrument, because she's only 6.5. But
Sure.
when
Yeah.
she sings along with music, she's like right on pitch, and I don't even
Oh,
have
that's
to
awesome.
with it. Yeah. And but like I've kind of like taken note of that, and I'm just like, maybe in like a few years she'll want to pick up a guitar, you know.
Yeah.
She loves I mean, like I'll show her music that I'm listening to, you know.
Yeah.
She's into most of it. I mean, she's into the usual like Taylor Swift, stuff. But then I've shown her like the 1975 and she loves them.
Oh,
And
yeah.
there's this band that I really like called Busted. She
Yep.
loves Busted. Um, but
That's
yeah,
cool. Yeah,
definitely
that's
music
really cool.
for sure.
Yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
that'll keep you. How do you find time to do anything? It takes
yeah,
that takes a lot of time just to be a dad, but then when you add in producing and writing and forming a new band plus your solo stuff, that's a lot.
yeah, yeah. I go crazy if I don't have tasks,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like I don't ever like sitting around. Like if I have time, like it messes with me, So like I always like to like allocate time to everything, and so far it worked. Yeah, I mean like there's a lot going on, and like it's a challenge to balance, like kind of having like full-time career and being full-time dad,
Yeah.
So
Right.
thankfully like I have like a great family support system, and they love hanging out with Kelsey and stuff, and
That's
so it gives
awesome.
me an opportunity to work, and everything seems to work out very smoothly, and it's great. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And did I read your family owns a like an eye care business?
Yeah, yeah. So sunglass business.
Oh, sunglass. Okay.
We also sell reading glasses and things like that. Yeah, Blue Planet Eco Eyewear is the
Ooh,
eco-friendly side of the
yeah.
company, but that's actually a subdivision of Blue Gem Sunglasses, which is like the original parent company.
Yeah.
And that was started in 1982 by my dad, and it started in his garage, and and then one thing led to another, and it wound up being successful, and then he was able to basically like that gave my family like a life, so
Yeah. I mean,
uh,
that's awesome. So have you worked in that business at all?
oh yeah, definitely. I've
Yeah.
worked there and participated in the family business for I mean, pretty much since I got out of high school. From
Yeah.
it's more on like a flexible basis now because of all the production work that I have coming in,
Sure.
but it's hard to walk away from that. Like I feel very like attached to that
Well,
business and
yeah.
kind of like carrying on like my dad's legacy, and just really like like me and my brother and my sister, we really look at the family business as like uh I don't quite know how to describe it, but it just like we see that as like this gave us like a good life,
Yeah, it's the family
Um,
business.
yeah, like this gave us a good life, and I come from a family of uh, small business owners, I guess,
Yeah.
and my dad's side of the family, I mean, grew up like really, really poor, and it's kind of an inspiring story that like my dad and my uncle, at between the ages of like 10 and 14 were going to downtown LA and buying bar mats, and going and selling them to bar owners, for a profit, like between 10 and 14,
That's
which is
amazing.
nuts to think about. And that was like what they did, and then my dad started sunglass business um, in the 80s, and my uncle started the Bass Hairbrush Company, I think late 70s. Yeah. And
I
still
mean, that's
going strong.
amazing.
Both of them. Yeah. Both of them still going strong. So, but it's kind of like humbling, like those humble
Yeah.
beginnings, and
Yeah.
then, so all of us, and all the kids now, like I'm like one of the kids, so we all like, appreciate, all their hard work and everything that, and so we're giving back now by like, working for the family business,
Yeah.
and participating to like any extent possible, to kind
Yeah,
of
you
keep
got
the
to keep
family
that
going.
going.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
absolutely.
so good. That's so great because it's so difficult to maintain a business in normal times, but with this
Yeah,
last year,
for
that was rough. So that's really good to hear that
for
that's still
sure.
going strong. Yeah, really good. Well, Connor, this has been awesome. I'm so excited to talk to you. We were supposed to talk last week, and we were talking a little offline that we had a snowstorm or an ice storm come through. It knocked the power out, so we had to reschedule. And really appreciated you doing that. But this has been great. You got to come back. You know, once you start releasing these songs with the new group, you got to come
absolutely.
back.
Yeah, we would love to come back and do this
We'll
again.
get you on and you play us, get together and play us a song.
Oh yeah, we would love to do that. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be terrific. That'd be a first. We've never had. I don't think we've ever had anybody actually. We've played music on here, but I don't think we've ever had somebody play it live. So that'd be a first.
That would be awesome. We would love to be the first band that comes.
That's right. That's right. No pressure. But if it goes bad, never again. No, we'd love to have you on. That would be terrific. I get my son usually does these podcasts with me. He does all the technical stuff, so he edits and does all that. And then my stepson, he'll pop in when something intrigues him, but he's the musical guy. You know, he does all his own music and stuff. So I could see him jumping on for that one. He probably enjoy that. He's a fellow Rush guy.
Yeah. All right, cool.
So Connor, before you go, I think we've hit everything, but is there anything else that you're working on that we can kind of keep an eye out for?
Well, the Social Ghosts material will be dropping April 2nd, the first single at least. But if anyone out there is listening wants to check out my music, you can go to CONNRmakesmusic.com, but that's Connor without the second O. So
that's right.
makesmusic.com. 137 Productions is my production company, and we offer recording, mixing, mastering, and more, session guitar work, session bass work, lessons. So if anyone out there is interested in that, 137productions.com. That's 137 numerical numbers, productions.com. And yeah, I guess that's kind of my pitch for right now.
Yeah, that's terrific. That's terrific. Are you on any social media?
Yeah. So Instagram at Connor Makes Music, again without the second O.
Yeah.
Twitter, Connor Makes Music. Facebook, Connor Makes Music. And on YouTube as well.
Yeah. So, that's where I was checking out
all the main
most of your stuff. Yeah, I was checking you out on YouTube. It's really good. And there's a lot of stuff on there.
Yeah. I've been trying to post some cover songs as well, just kind of like
there's some good cover songs on there. Yeah, that was real good. I was reading some of the comments and stuff on them. People were really enjoying those. That was good stuff.
Yeah, it's always rewarding when people they respond well to a cover song. Because hope you do it justice, and people are so used to hearing the original.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
So that you live up to it, so it's great when people, give good feedback about it.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, all right, Connor, thank you so much. Hold on one second. I'm gonna. Yep. All right, so that was Connor. What a talented guy. That was a lot of fun, and definitely you want to go to YouTube, go to the website, and check out his music. He's talented. He's got a terrific voice. He does a few different genres, so he's got some range. Talented musician, and just hard. You can tell, just a hard worker. I don't know how he has time to do anything. That's a lot, but just a really talented guy. I'm sure you're going to hear a lot more from it. And we got the new band name, and that was announced on here, which was news to me, which was awesome. I think that's the first time that's happened, so that was exciting. So when you're listening to this, it should be about a week away from the new band premiering some of their stuff. So keep an eye out for that, and we'll include the links along with this podcast. Thank you guys for listening, for coming back week after week. Really appreciate that. Definitely don't take you for granted, because there's so much out there. We're so appreciative you keep coming back to listen to us, which tells me that we must have really good guests, because I know it's not me. it's the quality of the people we're bringing on. So that's awesome. Thank you. If you haven't done so already, please check out our website, meistercon.com, and check out us on YouTube under MeisterCon Pod, and please subscribe. Until next time, bye, everybody.